Hey YouTube, Shauna here. Today I am bringing an interview to you on my channel. I haven't done this before. It was a new thing for me, but I thought it was really cool. So I used to work with this girl, Erica Davis. She's a really cool chick. She lost 20 pounds in a really holistic way, and I thought that you guys would really appreciate her story. And then also she's got some really awesome mind shift tips and some cool things about staying motivated that I thought you guys would find really valuable. She is a person that is super creative, super driven. I love working with her. I love collaborating with her. And I hope that you guys will find her story valuable. So without further ado, here is my interview with Erica Davis. Give us a quick synopsis of how you lost 20 pounds and changed your relationship to food, exercise, and body.
Quick synopsis, okay. I think just to kind of summarize everything that happened until I made the change that really stuck is for a long time I was trying to find a very narrowly defined way that I could eat and behave that would be like foolproof. Do you know what I mean? Like people say, cut out all the carbs or cut out all the fat or go vegan or go paleo or anything that's just like I can basically follow these rules and then I don't have to think about anything else.
Right.
And so I struggled for a really long time, like ever since, I feel like most people when they're in high school struggle with body image and everything, but as I got older and I was drinking a lot and I wasn't necessarily as active as I was when I was in high school and everything, I put on weight and I started to feel like, carrying an extra 5-10 pounds is fine, but carrying an extra 20 pounds, like that's too much, right?
Yeah.
I got to a point where I said, okay, this is enough. And then as I started to try to be more extreme with my diet and exercise, I realized I was yo-yoing a lot more extremely too. So I was able to lose a bunch of weight and get down to my high school weight. But then, 6 months later, I weighed more than I did before I started dieting. And so eventually I thought, okay, I'm going to go vegan, I'm gonna cut out meat and dairy, and that's gonna eliminate a lot of processed foods from my diet. I gained a lot of weight doing that. I didn't necessarily feel bad until the end, but last year I really realized that the time that I had felt best is when I was eating a mostly plant-based diet with a lot of good fats, a lot of fruits and vegetables, a little bit of meat, really no dairy, not a lot of grains. But I also quit drinking alcohol. I quit smoking cigarettes. It was a very gradual transition for me to get to the point where I got to last year, where I was able to start just losing weight effortlessly. And I think to summarize that change was that I started caring more about how my body felt than I cared about what my diet or what my day looked like on paper. So if I wanted to eat, 2,500 calories that day, I would. If I wanted to eat 1,000 calories that day, I would. I listened to my body and I stopped worrying about what kind of rules I was following, and I just started paying more attention to how my body was feeling.
Right. Which is huge, right? And so, and I know that you had kind of surfing and yoga played a role into that also.
So I changed my diet in February, and I started doing yoga maybe April or May, and then I started surfing in July. And so when I started surfing, I started doing yoga a lot more because it was really important to me that I get more agile and more flexible.
Right.
And I realized that when I was in yoga, I could really just I felt good, and just paying attention to my breath. And I've got asthma too, so that was always something that I tried a lot of diets to try to improve my asthma too. And I realized that my asthma got a lot better and my body started feeling a lot better once I just tried to just be calm and peaceful and at rest with my body.
Yeah. And
it's impossible for me, and I assume for most people, it's impossible to do that if you're so stressed out about whether this food is sabotaging your body or not.
Right.
So I think, if you have the mentality that, food is the enemy, and that the more calories you eat, the worse off you're going to be, and you have this kind of fear of food and if you're doing the right thing or not, I think that it works opposite to what you really want to do, which is to get your body to a place where it's functioning at its best.
Totally. So you kind of had to decondition or delayer kind of this all or nothing kind of restrictive mentality.
Yes.
And at the same time, it sounds like you then relayered in some healthy eating, caring more about how your body felt, energy levels, added in a layer of yoga, added in a layer of surfing, so it kind of like organically kind of went along, right?
Yes, it was very sustainable. It felt incredibly effortless.
Cool.
And yeah.
Cool. That's what I would say. It would be similar about my own experience at all. So, what do you feel was was there a hardest part or an easiest part, or you said it kind of felt pretty easy as you went along? Were there any challenges or setbacks? Any setbacks?
Totally. Yeah, I think I'm actually going through one right now where I'm at the point where I still want to lose a bit of weight, and I'm trying very hard not only to be patient with myself but also to be really realistic with what I have time for and what I have space for in my life when I'm so busy with other things like my creative projects and with work and just with everything else I'm doing. Trying to figure out how I can make the best decision in the moment and stay focused on the now, because what I find is when I'm focused so much on how am I going to eat like paleo all week, and I start to really freak out. But then it's like, okay, if I have a choice between, this hard-boiled egg or this granola bar, like that's just a split decision I can make. I don't have to think about what the rest of my week is going to look like. I can just stay in the moment and I can just make the right decision then. And then all those decisions over time, that's what leads to sustainable weight loss and health, I think.
Definitely. I think that's a really good way of putting it. And in terms of setbacks, I know you and I kind of spoke on this earlier, but even though you have made this progression and you're in mostly a good space, like sometimes there still are those setbacks, but A, they don't come as often, and B, you don't get completely derailed. Maybe you just get a little bit off.
Yeah, it's not like, I need to reset everything and change everything all at once. It's just like, hey, I realized that maybe these 2 or 3 things I did last week, maybe I stayed up too late and I didn't go to yoga the next morning because I was too tired. And then I think, I don't want to do that this weekend because going to yoga made me feel really good and it set me up to have a great day. So it's really just noticing which things I'm doing that I might not think are bad or in the moment, but then later I realize, okay, that's not what I actually want or need. That's just what I felt like in the moment, but that wasn't actually what I wanted or needed. And just being more aware. I think mindfulness and awareness is really the only thing that I focus on now.
Cool. And are there any activities that you do that you are cultivating more mindfulness and awareness?
I try to meditate. I've been doing this thing called morning pages, where I try to write 3 pages every morning. And then you gave me a really good tip last time we hung out. You said you do the 12-minute commit in the morning.
Yeah. I
haven't been doing 12 minutes, but I have been trying to do just sun salutations and just like basic like yoga and just moving and moving in a way that makes me feel good.
All right, pause. What are you doing to cultivate mindfulness and awareness?
I think writing in the morning, like doing morning pages. 3 pages of just stream of consciousness. And what that does for me is it really helps calm me down, and it helps me be more aware of what kind of mood I'm in, so I know maybe what I can do to balance that mood, right? So I told you that I've been doing intermittent fasting, which I think has also helped me get a really accurate picture of how my body is doing, right? When I don't eat before noon or 1 or sometimes even 2, and I think I get a really good picture of what my body feels like when it's really hungry, and when I'm just bored, or when I'm just thirsty, or when I'm just tired, or when I just want sugar. And it's that mindfulness and that awareness that I enjoy a lot about intermittent fasting. And I don't feel like once I get maybe halfway through the morning, I feel like it's not only effortless but really enjoyable, where I feel almost relieved to not feel that pressure of like, I have to make good choices. It's like I don't have to even think about it until after I've gotten done a lot of the work I need to do that day.
Cool.
So it's like decision fatigue. I've ever heard that people talk about decision fatigue, where you can only really, in willpower and decision making, it's like a finite resource that we have. So if we're trying to be really diligent and really dedicated to changing our habits, you can't change everything at once. You can't just go from like being a couch potato eating junk food all day to then all of a sudden jogging 2 hours every day, lifting weights 4 times a week, eating perfect. It's not.
And relying on your willpower to getting through.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. And what about the 12-minute commit? Or what are you doing in the mornings?
So I went to a massage therapist a few months ago who told me that especially with a desk job, even if you stand, like sun salutations in the morning, that's as long as you do that like that's the perfect activity. So and then you told me about the 12-minute commit, and I said, okay, I can commit to doing like 10 sun salutations every morning. And what I found is that if I tell myself, there's this really good book too called Mini Habits, where he talks about how he basically started doing 1 push-up a day.
Yeah.
It's like there's no resistance to that. If I can just do 1 push-up a day, then I know that every day I'll do at least 1 push-up. And what happens is once you start, then it's like, I think I can do 10 push-ups, and then I want to do some planks, and then some sit-ups, because it feels good once you start. But the idea that you're going to have to do this like 1-hour yoga routine every morning, that's really stressful. And so what I found is that I can do this even when I'm traveling for work, right? I get up in the hotel in the morning and I just do sun salutations, and then I'll do like some push-ups or some ab stuff, or I don't know, some squats, and then I feel so much better.
Yeah. And then who's to say, like, right, like maybe later in the day you'll get another workout in, but you've at least done this piece for yourself. First thing in the morning, you've put that investment in yourself.
And talk about awareness and mindset, right? If you're thinking about it every morning, if your first thought in the morning is, oh yeah, I'm going to do sun salutations, and you start to really look forward to the way that your body feels like when it's waking up, and you're just, thinking about your day. Whereas, like, before, when I would wake up, I would think, coffee.
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to get to coffee as soon as possible? And so just changing your thought patterns, I think, is why those small daily habits are so important. Because if you wake up thinking about that, and you know that you're committed to doing that every day, the rest of your day, it's probably going to pop back into your mind, just like meditation.
Yeah.
Right? If you're meditating for 15 minutes every day at the same time, you're going to have moments throughout the rest of your day where you're really aware.
Yeah, right. It's just cultivating that in the morning, and then and then it shows up in your day.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So that's your morning routine right now. Is your morning pages, 3 pages, free flow.
Yep.
And then your sun salutations.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah,
I like that.
It's been working for me.
And you feel like that helps you. You mentioned you feel like that helps you kind of anchor your day, and then those things continue to show up in the rest of your day. Being more grounded, more aware, more mindful.
And I notice a difference when I don't do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes in the morning, there was a day that on my trip that I just came back from, where I didn't get to do that because I woke up too late and I had to go to a meeting. And the rest of the day, I just felt this friction, and I knew it wasn't rational. I knew that there wasn't anything that I needed to fix or change, but I just realized that I didn't have that quiet moment in the morning where I could just kind of come back to a place of stillness and awareness, and that it was just more, I was focused on like external stuff the rest of the day, and it was really hard for me to kind of pull back into and not be so stressed out.
Yeah. Okay, so I like that. So that's your morning routine. Any PM routine or any evening routine that you do before you go to bed?
I've been trying to foam roll. I haven't been very good about it, but I've been trying to foam roll.
That's on my list to do also.
Nice.
I haven't started yet.
It's good. Do you have a foam roll?
I have a foam roll right in that back corner.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Oh, I notice a huge difference when I foam roll.
Cool.
And then
and where are you starting that? Did you YouTube video?
No, I started a few years ago when I went on a long bike tour. I went on this bike tour, and I'd never ridden more than, I don't know, like maybe 20 or 30 miles in a day, and I had planned to ride like between 50 and 70 miles every day for like 4 or 5 weeks at least. And so I thought, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Like, I'm going to get so tired. And so I thought, I researched. I was like, how do you, I think I Googled, like, how to recover sore muscles faster. Like, how, you know what I mean? Like, how do you recover faster? And I Googled it, and foam rolling came up a bunch. So I bought one of those
travel
really
size?
thin ones.
Oh, okay.
It was really hard. It wasn't. I have one of these now, but it was really hard, kind of like a rolling stick. And I rolled my IT bands and my quads and my hamstrings when I was on my bike tour. And I think I could have done it without that, but I think that really helped a lot. Yeah. So ever since then, I've been a believer of the foam rollers.
Okay. Yeah, I have heard that you can use just PVC pipe also. Sounds like maybe that was like similar to what you were using.
Yeah, it was hard plastic. It was maybe twice as thick as PVC pipe, but.
So that is something that you'll be you're working on incorporating into your kind of evening, kind of let the day go. Maybe I know a lot of people do like a gratitude practice in the evening. I don't have a set routine in the evening either. I typically read before I go to bed, but I don't have a set anything yet. So I know you and I have talked about like mind shift and language choices that change when you start exercising and doing it in a healthy lifestyle type of way rather than that restrictive kind of thing. Can you talk to me if there was a shift in your internal dialogue, maybe about how you talked about your goals and or talked to your internal self dialogue?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really good question. And I think that this was the missing piece that when I was watching all the YouTube videos trying to figure out what diet or lifestyle would be best for me, this was really the piece that I don't feel like I got soon enough, or that it took me the longest to figure this piece out. Like, finding a good diet is fairly easy, right? Mm-hmm. You just kind of listen to your body, figure out what feels best, and
experiment a little, tweak something a little,
and then you can change one habit at a time. There's plenty of books on that, like exactly what to do and when to do it. But the part that's really hard is the desire, right? The desire to say, okay, I really want to feel good today, and I really want to make this change, and not just have it be an intellectual concept, but something that you really feel. Like, Tony Robbins says this thing where he says, you don't change until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change. Mm-hmm. So when I quit smoking, I just got to a point where I thought, I can't do it anymore. Like, every time I light up a cigarette, I just feel like I'm powerless. I feel like I have no control. I feel like I'm just destroying my health and my mental health too.
Yeah.
And so I just said, I can't do it anymore. And it was incredibly easy because it was so painful to continue that way.
Yeah.
And so I think I had a similar thing happen with diet, where when I realized that my vegan diet wasn't really working for me, and then I'd gained all this weight and I'd kind of been in denial about my own habits and my own relationship with food, I realized that what I needed to do is just do what made me feel best.
Uh-huh.
And since then, what's changed in my mind is not like, oh, you have to do this because, it's almost like a moral thing. Yeah. I think we often think about food choices and diet choices. It's like, you're either a good person if you take care of yourself, or you're a bad person if you don't. And you can't make a positive change if it's coming from a place of self-hate or like, I don't know the right word.
Judgment.
Exactly. Yeah, but if you're coming from a place of self-love where it's like, hey, remember last time you ate that? You really didn't feel good.
Yeah.
It wasn't a positive experience. Do you really want to do that again?
It's a more gentle conversation with yourself.
Yeah, and it's much easier to be rational in the moment, too.
Yeah. Because
if you have the desire to look and feel better and just generally be a more pleasant person to be around, and you also have this desire where, like, you don't want to face whatever it is that's giving you that conflict, right? Like, with me, I realized that with drinking and smoking and even food, right? Because food can be an addiction as well, like just the numbing of whatever is coming up.
Yeah.
And I realized, and this was the hardest
Definitely.
part about, like, with me for smoking and drinking, like, that was the hardest part, is it was not the physical symptoms. And same with diet. It wasn't the things that I felt in my body or the habit change. It was all the emotions that come up when you do try to get back in touch with your body. And so the biggest thing for me that changed was, and especially when I started doing yoga and surfing, the biggest thing that changed for me was just wanting to kind of, even, like, I guess I just thought of this, but, like, find truth in myself. Like, what is it that I'm really feeling right now? Yeah. Like, I'm feeling anxious. Do I need to eat? No, I don't need to eat. I need to, like, figure out why I feel so anxious.
Yeah.
And so that for me was a huge, huge shift.
That's great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so that was a process, though. You don't just wake up and have that skill set.
Right, and I think it's still a process. Just, I mean, that's why people who have quit drinking still go to AA meetings, like, 10 years later. My, some people in my family who have quit smoking for over 10 years, they still have dreams about smoking. It's like, it's something that when you have a tendency towards certain behaviors that are emotionally driven.
Yeah.
I think that those never really go away. And you can get to a point where you're really an observer. Like, sometimes if I want to drink, or sometimes I even want a cigarette, I, like, have that impulse, but it's very easy for me to be like, no, that's not what you want. And it's almost like comical, where it's like, when you, like, your kid, when they want to do something, you're like, no, you don't know, you don't understand the consequence of that yet. Like, that's absolutely not what you want to do. And it's almost like you can be that same observer in your head to your own feelings.
Yeah.
But that again, just, like, always comes back to me to awareness and mindset.
Yeah. I think that's very true. Okay, cool. So our topic was New Year's resolutions. We're almost through the end of January. The studies show that most people have already fallen off the bandwagon on their New Year's resolutions. What would be your best tips for like moving yourself forward in a positive manner or getting back towards moving towards those goals? What would be like best tips?
I would say to focus more on short-term goals than long-term goals. If you're focused on, losing 20 pounds by summer, it's like, okay, well, that's really hard to measure day by day, right? So if you, instead your goal is to just eat clean today and then have a way, so short-term goals over long-term goals. I don't really have long-term goals right now. I think for me, they're not really helpful. There's definitely some things that I want to do in the next, year or 2 or 3, but I'm not focused on that. It's in the back of my mind. The forefront of my mind is like, what am I doing today? What am I doing tomorrow? And what am I going to do in the next couple of weeks? So focusing more short term if you're struggling. And then the second tip I'd have is to record yourself in a way that holds you accountable, whether that's finding a friend, saying, hey, can we talk once a week? I want to just keep you updated and I want you to keep me updated. Like have an accountability partner.
Definitely. Would
be huge. Or if you don't feel comfortable with that, to have a journal where every day, no matter how your day goes, you record it, because if you're reflecting on the bad decisions that you made, you're going to be like, why did I do this? And then you can really get to not just of like, oh, I suck, but why, what caused me to make a decision that was not going in the same direction as my desires for myself. I think being aware of kind of your triggers, I guess people call them, into making those decisions. So short-term focus and then like some kind of accountability to yourself.
Yeah, I think those are good tips. Okay, then I thought it'd be really fun if we did rapid fire questions. Okay, so I have like maybe 8 or 9, I don't know, little fun this or this made like would be bigger impact for you in your health journey. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, diet or exercise?
Diet.
Cool. Healthy breakfast or healthy dinner?
Healthy dinner.
Scale or inches?
Inches.
Ooh. Inches or how your wetsuit fit or your pants fit?
Definitely how your clothes fit, for sure.
Okay, how your clothes fit or energy level?
Ooh. I would say energy level, like over maybe a week.
First thing, okay, energy level.
Energy level.
Okay. Early to bed or early to rise?
Both. I'd say early to bed.
Early to bed. Yeah. Cool. Veggies or protein?
Oof, veggies.
Whole grains, healthy fats?
Healthy fats.
Meditation or self-reflection?
Self-reflection.
Okay, last one. Why or what?
Why.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else that I didn't ask you that you think would be super important to our viewers?
I think that we did a really good job. Your questions are really thorough. I feel like I don't know, I think I said everything I really felt compelled to say.
Okay, cool.
I think the biggest thing that I have to keep telling myself every day, and sometimes several times every day, is to focus on your progress, right? Not like if I go into the gym today, I can probably lift more than someone who's been maybe lifting for 2 or 3 months very, very consistently. But the amount of momentum that they're going to have, they're going to be lifting more than me within a few months, right? And there's people that maybe can come to the gym today and lift way, way more than I could when I had been lifting for 6 months very continuously. So I think not focusing on where you're at, but focusing on your momentum, I think that's really important. And it can work the opposite way, because some days I'll feel like, oh hey, I'm doing really well, but then I'll realize my momentum is not that I'm going to continue feeling well if I don't change some stuff. So to focus on kind of your momentum and take a step back sometimes. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, so the second piece of this video is going to be Erica interviewing me.
Correct. On my channel.
On your channel, which is
Idea Jam.
Idea Jam.
Link it below.
And we'll link it below.
It's a new channel. I don't have a lot on there yet, but
she will.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited. And I definitely think that mental health and mindset for me is my main focus of my channel. So I'm excited to ask you some questions about how your fitness journey and your coaching has impacted your mindset. I'm really excited to do that interview.
Okay, cool. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.